Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. So today we have been working on crafting stuff. Yes, I felt the need to actually start making some crafted stuff, as well as our usual stuff which we have stockpiled for when Shadowlands is released. I wanted to get back into the swing of crafting and generally mounts. So I used my mount production spreadsheet, which I made a few months ago, or a month or so ago. I can't really remember when I actually made that. I pretty much worked out that the prices of certain materials on certain different types of mounts was actually relatively getting a lot higher, and therefore was actually getting a bit cheaper, or something to that effect, where I could actually produce a profit for those particular mounts. So therefore, as well as we've got those, we've actually managed to fill up a load of mounts that we've actually managed to get a hold of. So other than that, yes, I did actually make some Panther mounts, and yeah, the profit is pretty bad on them, but overall, with the actual production spreadsheet, the profit that TSM is actually showing is different than what the production spreadsheet is going with. And if you know what I mean, I've been using my transmutes with Transmute Master to actually proc additional things. So aside from all of that, what have we been actually doing? Well, we've actually crafted loads of the Vial of Sands once again. We've crafted mechanized choppers, and we've crafted an array of all the other different types of mounts, even the engineering and the tailoring specific mounts as well, because they do sell relatively well. Other than that, we did use our procs, so things that we actually got a hold of additionally was flasks of Titanic Strength using our Elixir Master. We actually got 12 more of those, 11 more of the Flask of Winds. We actually did make some Arcanite bars, but I didn't do it on my Transmute Master because the other 200's on the Transmute Master at this moment in time. So I wanted to actually just make sure that was working and stockpiled and on the auction house. And then I'll actually work on the Transmute Master stuff. As well as Living Steel, I did do a few of those to round it up. And therefore, we've actually got a nice chunk of stuff to add additionally on the auction house. Therefore, I actually did work on a couple of other different types of things, such as I actually went through all of my old mogs. So when it comes to reposting your mogs, if you do transmog selling quite a bit, you do tend to get a flux of random things. So if you're getting started, you sell everything. It's probably the basic way to understand what sells and what doesn't sell. Now, with me, after a little while of just posting and doing all of that stuff, I was thinking, well, at the moment in time for Shadowlands, we're going to need a less of that amount of things to repost, like every day, because that's a significant amount of time posting stuff on the auction house. So what I've actually done is any low tier transmog, I've actually disenchanted. So anything under 500 gold, I've disenchanted, and then I can sell the mats for additional gold through that. So therefore, I've actually managed to actually have a look at all of this, and we can actually have a gander right now. And our total bag value of all the stuff in our bags for our mounts and our materials for this is 773,000 gold's worth. So that's pretty damn good. We currently have 87,000 gold in our bag, so not overly too great, but not overly too worse. But other than that, we can actually post those all to the auction house if we so wished. Obviously, I'm not going to post every single one of those mounts all at once. That would be very silly. What I like to do is I like to post 2 of every one on the auction house. So things like the flying carpet, I'll post all of them because they sell relatively well, and the profit margins on them are usually quite good, and they're relatively inexpensive to make. So I'm okay with having a flux on them. But when it comes to like the Vial of the Sands and the mechanized chopper, I want to make sure that we can keep the price as stable as possible, and that means posting only 2 at a time. So we've got a supply on the auction house, but also we've also been able to just get along with that. So that's what I've done moving forward. Other than that, that is pretty damn good. We've actually managed to craft those into the mounts. They sell relatively well. All these mounts sell relatively well in the grand scheme of things, and thus we can then focus on actually doing a mount production of those, and then when we actually get enough gold, we can actually start doing the other things. So if we go into our TSM groups right now, we can click off of mounts. So for the mount production, obviously it will say sky golems on there. I need to actually move that across because obviously they're a daily craft. So what I could actually do now is professions. So this is all in pre done before Shadowlands, so then we can actually just keep this stockpiled. So this is a lot of glyphs, a lot of tomes of illusions. A lot of tomes of illusions for Northrend keep selling quite well at the moment. Don't know why, but they're selling quite well and I'm very much enjoying it. Same with potion of treasure finding. People are gold farming still, so we keep those supplied in the auction house, as well as bags, because people are leveling alts and we'll be crafting those. So we can actually spend 108,000 gold and get a return of 79,735. Obviously we need to have a float for when Shadowlands actually comes about, so therefore we're going to have to hold fire on that crafting until we actually manage to generate some gold back from these mounts. So therefore we will actually hold on to those. Now you're probably wondering, why did I just spend like 500,000 gold's worth to actually craft the mounts? And that is because I want to have my production already in motion, like before the actual Shadowlands actually comes about, so we can still pull in gold from all the other stuff, as well as then we can actually focus on the Shadowlands crafts and all that stuff. So it just adds it into the rotation for the day, so we get ourselves back into the swing of production, and then we can start crafting and crafting and crafting and making gold through every mean possible. That being the case, let's have a look at the goal for the day, which is 40,597 gold. Obviously we sold a load of enchanting stuff, and the things of note are the fire main leggings for 1,903 gold. We sold all of our sinister squashlings for 39 silver. By the way, sinister squashlings never sell great, so I'm not too concerned. It's just nice to get rid of them, to be honest. The thing of note as well is thin jelly, 449 of that for 15,995 gold. That's awesome. That was definitely well worth the hour's time of actually farming. We sold the Sonic Environment Enhancer for 2,384 gold, and we also sold Glyph of Floating Shards, 3 of them for 3,417 gold, as well as 4 Primal Fire for 1,102 gold, Crush and Thrasher Cannon Controller from the Nagrand Rares for 1,787 gold. So that's why I love it, because it just sells really well. We actually sold some Tomes of the Quiet Mind, 64 for 1,767 gold, High Explosive Gunpowder for 248 of that for 2,497 gold. And overall that's actually come out about really well. So 40,597 gold. So that's pretty damn good. I'm quite happy with that. And that boosts us back up to over 100,000 gold again. So no matter what happens now, as long as I keep this mount production up, we will still have over 100,000 gold for Shadowlands stuff. But remember, I am farming to craft when we hit Shadowlands, so that is one thing you may want to bear in mind overall. If you don't have a float when you actually go into a new X pack, it's going to be a lot harder for you to actually invest in leveling your professions. So I like to have a float of about 200,000 gold just to tide myself over, because I usually find that's kind of my sweet spot. So in about 2 weeks, when Shadowlands actually releases, or less than 2 weeks, I reckon I'll be back up to 200,000 gold for that, but still have my mount production going. Other than that, guys, I've started my mount production up again. Let's get this baller rolling before Shadowlands actually comes about, and then we can actually go about some really nice golds for the days moving forward. Aside from all of that, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about for today. Have a great rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.